Greetings YouTubers, and welcome back to part 2 of my Arrow video window box editions. I just want to thank all my newest subscribers. I think I got about a dozen since yesterday, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Enjoy your stay here. Always feel free to leave a comment and tell me where you're watching from. So I have 14 more left to go through, and we're going to start with the Exterminator. Grindhouse style movie from the 80s. A one-man army. So here on the back you can see the 4 different covers. You get one disc, you get a booklet, and you get a 2-sided poster. And if you want to pause it and read the contents and the special features, this one's all region. It is in English language, English subtitles. Approximately 98 minutes running time. This one was released by Arrow in 2011. And there is the synopsis. Go ahead and pause that, check it out. And let's take the plastic case off and we'll dive in. And the lovely girls are here. Miss Hannah on the left this time and Miss Heidi. So there is the window box. There's the disc. And we'll take a look at the 4 covers. And that is the newly commissioned art for 2011. And it came with a little booklet. It says at the top, in war, you have to kill to stay alive. On the streets of New York, it's often the same. Just a few pages, but I always enjoy the booklets. And then they also threw in another 2011 catalog, which we looked at once before. We don't really need to look at that again. But it's pretty cool that they threw that in. And then here is the poster art. This was the original. This was also I think this was the Spanish poster. But that's the original art. And then here again was the newly commissioned art. I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna say this movie. Well, I cut myself off a little bit on that last clip. I was gonna say, I'm gonna take a guess that this movie came out in 1982, but I was way off. This came out in 1980, so this is The Exterminator from 1980. Fun little grindhouse popcorn movie. You don't have to do any thinking at all when you watch this movie. Just put it on and go back to the 80s for some of that action and violence. It's a good movie. I recommend it. The next one here is kind of another black sheep in the group. This is a really weird movie called Forbidden Zone. And this one was directed by Richard Elfman, who is the brother of Danny Elfman, who did the soundtrack for this. And Danny Elfman did the soundtrack for my whole childhood, basically. He did like Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He did the Spider-Man movies. He did some Simpsons work. He's married to Bridget Fonda too. And he was in the group Oingo Boingo from the 80s, if you remember. I think they're still doing music to this day, but I don't really follow that band. But he's a legend. And this is a really, really odd movie. There are the 4 different covers that we're going to look at. You get one disc, you get a two-sided poster, and you get a booklet. And if you want to read a little bit there, feel free to pause it. So you get two different cuts of the movie, apparently. One is 73 minutes and one's 74 minutes. And it's English language and English subtitles. And it's in color and in black and white. And the movie came out in, was it the 80s? I'm gonna have to look, but Arrow Video put it out in 2012. I think this was the early 80s. But let's open it up and take a look. Okay, so there is the window box. Again, there is the disc. These are the 4 covers, and the movie did come out in 1980 exactly. Another fun fact, I guess, about the director Richard Elfman is his daughter-in-law is Jenna Elfman. You remember her? She was the gorgeous, tall blonde from Dharma and Greg. I always thought she was really cute, really nice looking, but that's his daughter-in-law. So here's the booklet. Take a look here at this really strange movie. I'm glad to have it. It's part of the collection, but it's not one that I would have suspected to be with all these great horror movie titles. This one and Caligula were kind of out of place a little bit. And here is the two-sided poster. That's one of the original covers. You guys will have to let me know how you enjoyed this movie, what you thought about it. And I wouldn't say I don't hate the movie, but I'm definitely not a really big fan of it. But here's the newly commissioned art. And that is 1980, Forbidden Zone, directed by Richard Elfman. The next movie is a Frank Henenlotter movie called Frankenhooker, starring the gorgeous Patty Mullen, who still looks absolutely amazing. She's in her late 50s, about 58 years old now as I'm recording this, and she is absolutely stunning. Don't believe me? Pause my video right now and go Google Patty Mullen, and she will knock your socks off. A beautiful girl, beautiful lady. This is a fun movie from the 1990. It's a horror comedy movie, and she's killed in the movie. There's a tragic mistake, a tragic accident, and she passes away, and they bring her back to life as a Frankenhooker. She looks amazing in this movie too. But there you go. There's the 4 covers. And you get a double-sided poster, a booklet, and a disc. It is all region. You can see the special features and the contents of the disc and the synopsis. Let's take a look inside. So there again is the window box. You get the disc. Here's a cover you may recognize. That was on the VHS cover. This is a silly movie, but it's fun. It's a fun little horror comedy. And the thing about Patty Mullen, I used to follow a lot of these actresses and actors on Facebook years ago when I was pretty big into Facebook. And she was on there, and she really embraces this character. So she would go and do horror conventions, and she would dress up as her character to take pictures and sign autographs. She really enjoyed that. And she's, like I said, she's still gorgeous. So here's the booklet. Hopefully we will be fine. I don't think there's really nothing in this movie that's that could get censored. But there she is. She was probably mid-20s when she played this role. Go look at her now. Check her out. Google her. And there is the original poster. And this was the commissioned art. And that is Frankenhooker from 1990. The next one is a staple from the 1980s horror scene, and this is Tobe Hooper's Funhouse from 1981. This was a fun movie. I watched this one not yearly, but every couple of years I'll pop this on. This is a fun watch. You can see some of those classic covers. And you get a double-sided poster again, and a booklet. And if you want to pause it, this one is region B. 95 minutes running time. English language, English subtitles. This one was released in 2011. And there's some write-ups there at the top if you want to pause that and read it. So let's break into this and check it out. There's the window box, the disc. Some really nice choices here for your artwork. And there's the commissioned art, which looks great. And you get the booklet, just a little thin booklet, but again, it's pretty cool to have these booklets. Some write-ups by Kim Newman. Pretty decent size booklet. Nice still frames, still photos in there from the movie. And then you get probably my favorite cover here with this drooling, cleft lip, freak mutant. And then, of course, you get the commissioned art there in the back, which again looks amazing. It looks really good. So that is Tobe Hooper's Funhouse from 1981. One that I recommend if you haven't seen it. The next one is Fulci's The House by the Cemetery from 1981. That's the commissioned art right there. That looks great. There you get the 4 covers. You get 2 discs in this one, double-sided poster and a booklet. And you know, something just haunted me just now. That image right there, that lady. Have you ever heard of the serial killer called Israel Keyes? He was a real dirty bastard. He's dead now, thank God. That guy was a piece of crap. But there was a really haunting, probably one of the most haunting stories I've ever heard before was about Israel Keyes and the night that he did something really horrible to a young lady who was working at I think it was a coffee shop or an ice cream shop. If you're not afraid of having an image burned into your brain forever, look that up. And that image right there looks very hauntingly familiar to that particular photo that I'm talking about. But viewer discretion. It's a terrible story. It's a horrible photo. If you're not afraid of that kind of stuff lingering in your mind, check it out. If not, just stay away from it. But anyway, so I wish I didn't bring that up. This is all region. It's 86 minutes running time, English language, English subtitles. And so Blu-ray disc 1 has the movie and special features, and DVD disc 2 has just special features. And if you want to read about the Blu-ray contents, and then here's a little write-up at the top about it. So let's take a look inside. So here's the window box. Here are the 2 discs. This is the Blu-ray, DVD. They have different artwork on them, that's just pretty cool. Yeah, that image right there is pretty haunting if you go see what I'm talking about. And then there's the other. So you get 4 different covers. And there was an art card in here for The Beyond, another Fulci movie, which we showed earlier in the first video. And you get a booklet. This one has a pretty good atmosphere. Fulci was good for dialing in on the atmosphere in these movies. There was a pretty haunting scene in the beginning when the priest hung himself. And here is probably my favorite poster right there. That's a really, really good poster. Beware the demon forces of the blood beasts. And then here's the commissioned art. All right, so we will keep moving on. House by the Cemetery from 1981. The next one is another classic from the master of the Giallo film, Dario Argento from 1980. This is Inferno, and it's the commissioned art right there. Here's the hype sticker, available fully uncut for the first time in the UK. 160 minutes of special features. Some really good covers with this one as well, and I'm sure you will recognize the one there on the left. And you get a double-sided poster, you get 2 discs, you get a booklet, and you get some art cards. So the discs are a Blu-ray and a DVD. Actually, it looks like, it looks like there's 2 discs, but here it's saying there's Blu-ray disc 1, DVD disc 2. Yeah, it's 2 discs. And this was released in 2010 by Arrow. 106 minutes running time. English and Italian language and English subtitles if you choose. And if you want to pause that, you can read a little bit about the Blu-ray. And you can read about the DVD. Looks like there's an interview with George A. Romero and John Carpenter. That'd be a nice one. And there's a little write-up about the film, so let's take a look at the covers. Window box, Blu-ray, DVD, unique art, that's a plus, booklet, very iconic cover. I remember seeing that in VHS rental store. Newly commissioned. I think I'm going to stick with that, although I do like that one too. But well, here's the booklet. Kind of a smaller booklet, but Still nice to have. Having a hard time focusing here today. And here are the art cards, or lobby cards. These witch movies were pretty fun. This was not a Giallo. Argento was probably most famous for his Giallo movies, but the Mother of Tears trilogy was really good too. I love the witchcraft stuff. And then you get a really nice poster. And again, the commissioned art. So the Mother of Tears trilogy was Suspiria, which is probably still my favorite Argento movie of all time, from 1977. And then part 2 was Inferno. And then they concluded it, I believe it was 2013, with Mother of Tears, and they call it the Mother of Tears trilogy. If you haven't seen these, check them out in that order: Suspiria, Inferno, Mother of Tears. You'll really enjoy it. It's a great witchcraft little franchise there. Next one is a Mario Bava film from 1974 called Lisa and the Devil, starring Telly Savalas. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. This was one of the later ones. This might have even been the very last one that Arrow put out with the window box, if I remember. I think this was the last one. And of course, Mario Bava's known for Black Sunday, The Whip and the Body, among many, many others. And he was always great. Look at all these special features here. "96 minutes running time." You can watch it in English or Italian, and you can watch it with English subtitles if you want to. You want to pause that and read the special features, go ahead and do so. And we're going to take a look inside. So this is a 3-disc set. There again is the window box. You get the Blu-ray Region B. That is disc 1, features and extras. And this is a DVD, Lisa and the Devil feature and extras. And this one is disc 3, The House of Exorcism, feature and extras. And you still get the 4 choices of art here, but you don't get a poster. And they started to get into these really thick and fancier booklets. And this is when Arrow started to go away from the window box into their current format. You'll notice that when you get to that, when we get to the booklet here, you'll notice that. But here are the 4 covers. Every time I see Telly Savalas, you may see Kojak, but I see Maggot. He was a great actor, Telly Savalas. If you know, you know. And then there was an art card for Cat O' Nine Tails. That's really cool. Karl Malden, Dario Argento movie. You can see some of their previous releases. And then you'll notice that the booklet looks much nicer. They put a little more money into it. They have some really glossy, high-def photos, some more extensive write-ups. It's a thicker booklet. And this is what you know from Arrow now. This is pretty much what they're putting in all their releases now. But this was kind of the start of it right here. So this, it's not a bad movie, but it's not one of my favorites. And that is Lisa and the Devil from 1974. I do love Bava, though. He's a great director. The next one is another classic 80s popcorn movie, Maniac Cop, directed by William Lustig, starring Bruce Campbell, Tom Atkins, Robert Zadar, the only guy with a chin that would destroy Bruce Campbell's. Great movie. I really enjoy this movie. There are the 4 covers, reversible poster, and you get a booklet and a disc. It says Notorious Video Nasty, creator William Lustig and B-movie legend Larry Cohen return to the dirty streets for a unique high-speed collision of the slasher movie and police thriller. If you haven't seen this movie, it's really, really good. And there you see the bonus features. It's all region. 85 minutes running time. English language and English subtitles. All right, let's keep this show moving. Here's the window box. There's your disc. It's really nice choices here. The commissioned art. Let's see if we can get a good view of Zadar in here. See if we can find him. There he is. He had a medical condition that caused his jaw to grow like 3-4 sizes as big as it should. 3 or 4 sizes bigger than normal, I guess. I can't remember the name of the medical issue. Is it? I'm not even going to guess because I'll look ridiculous. But these are fun movies. Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 2 was pretty fun as well. And then here is, I love that image right there. He prefers to kill instead of protect. And there was another tagline that says, "You have the right to remain silent forever." And again, here's the commissioned art, which looks really good too. 1988. This was right around the hot spot for the VHS rental days. Here's a good one. This is from 1976, a psychological thriller directed by Brian De Palma called Obsession, about an older widower who's obsessed with a younger woman who looks like his ex-wife. And Cliff Robertson stars. John Lithgow is also in here too. This is a really good movie, and this edition is really nice. It comes with the, well, here I'll show you. It comes with the Blu-ray, and you get 4 covers. You get a poster, a double-sided poster, a booklet, and you also get what are they calling it? What is it called? My mind kind of went blank. The screenplay. I think that's what they're calling it. The screenplay, it's a book. I'll pull it out and we'll take a look at it. I think that's what they're calling it, a screenplay, right? Well, no, they're calling it exclusive collector's booklet. Available for the first time, Paul Schrader's original screenplay of the film in a perfect bound booklet with the original title, Deja Vu. Schrader's original script includes unfilmed sequences and so it also includes 2 shorts from Brian De Palma's early years, Wotan's Wake from 1962 and The Responsive Eye from 1966. So let's take these out and take a look. Okay, so there again is the window box. It's a little thicker than the other ones because it has extra stuff in it. You get the Blu-ray. And they have this one in a skinnier case than normal. This is like a US size. The UK usually has a little bit of a thicker case, but I suppose they did that to, they didn't want this to be way too thick. But so anyway, here's the 4 covers. That's a great cover right there. That's the commissioned cover, and I think that's the best one. And here is the screenplay with the title Deja Vu, First Draft. And they make it look like it has those little pins in there that kind of spread out to hold. I'm not sure what those are called. Oh, I had it backwards. Here's the front of the book. It's really nice. Oh, actually, it does go this way. So obviously we're not going to read the whole screenplay, but I think it's pretty cool that they throw in a little collectible like this. I know when this edition came out, it was a pretty hot ticket. Everybody was swarming to get this one. I think it sold out pretty quick. You know, I haven't checked the price on any of these in years. I have no idea what these are going for. It would be interesting to kind of go back and take a look, but I mean, I haven't had to look because I have them all. So anyway, that is Obsession, a really cool thriller from Brian De Palma, and a great role by Cliff Robertson, who I always thought he was a great actor anyway. Oh, I gotta show you the poster. So that's one side, and you already saw, and I think this is the best poster right here. I love the way that looks. To me, it almost feels like a Alfred Hitchcock poster. It looks really good. Next one is another Argento movie from 1985. This is called Phenomena. And this one is 116 minutes running time. You can watch it in English or Italian language, and you can watch it with English subtitles. And this stars a very young Jennifer Connelly, who's a very beautiful lady. And you get 4 covers, a disc, 2-sided poster, and a booklet. Go ahead and pause it there if you want to read about the special features, if you want to read about the contents, and if you want to read about the synopsis. So there is the window box. There's the disc. Now, as far as I know, this only has one cut of the movie, but there have been, I think there's 2 or 3 different cuts of the movie. One of them is called Creepers, and it's a US cut, and I think it's quite a bit shorter than the Italian cut. But I think they re-released this later on, and they do have a couple of the 2 or 3, I think they have all of the cuts of the movie. Some of the later releases, and there's what the Creepers poster looked like. Donald Pleasance. We're not going to do the Donald Pleasance voice today. I don't want to wear that out. But this is a fun movie. And Donald Pleasance is great. And Jennifer Connelly was great. She was always great. And here's the poster. You get Creepers. And there's the commissioned art. So Jennifer Connelly was 15 years old when she played this role. And she's now, as I'm recording this in 2025, she's 54 years old. Hard to believe how fast time goes. And I really liked her in Labyrinth too. It's another great movie. Next is another action movie from the 80s, 1988, starring Dolph Lundgren, Red Scorpion. And Dolph Lundgren around this time was pretty popular. He was a pretty big actor, pretty big box office draw. After his, what was it, 1985, he played Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, which was a great movie. I watched this movie once years ago on VHS, and I don't really remember a lot about it, so it's probably time for me to give this a rewatch. But I'll be honest, I don't really have any interest to watch it, at least not anytime soon. But so let's take a look here at some of the covers. Taught to stalk, trained to kill, programmed to destroy. You can see he even kind of looks like Drago there in that poster. You get a booklet and a disc. Go ahead and read that. And tells a little bit about the edition there. This was released by Arrow in 2012. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we go again with the window box. He's a human killing machine. You get the disc. He sure does look like Drago with that white fuzzy hair like he had in the Rocky movie. There's the commissioned art. Here's the booklet. I always enjoyed Dolph Lundgren. I thought he was a great action star. And then this one came with a different catalog. This was a 2012 catalog. The one that we had seen over and over previously was the 2011. They're calling this Blu-ray and DVD catalog. Kind of flip through this one really quick. Show some of the DVD box sets, which I will be doing a comprehensive DVD overview at some point, maybe next week. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to do a couple of other things in between. We'll kind of take a break from Arrow after this video. And we have a two-sided poster here. That's a really cool poster, though. I like that. It is Red Scorpion from 1988. The next one is another Argento movie from 1982. A really good Giallo movie. Really good camera techniques in this movie. Tenebrae. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We have two left after this one. You get 4 covers, a disc, two-sided poster, and a booklet. Go ahead, you know the routine by now. We've been doing this for a couple hours now for 2 videos. You know to pause it if you want to read. You can watch it in Italian or English language with English subtitles. So here we go again with the window box. The disc, and there's the newly commissioned art of a scene that does take place in the movie. There's a booklet, just a little thin booklet. Again, this is another one I would recommend if you haven't seen it. Check it out. Just a few pages. That's all you really need sometimes. And there's the commissioned art. And I'm not sure why they chose to use this image. I think this is probably to me, one of the worst images for the movie poster, but what are you gonna do, right? 1982's Tenebrae by Dario Argento. From 1986 is Vamp, starring Grace Jones, who probably didn't need much makeup to play a vampire. She was a very scary looking woman to me. This is a horror comedy. And you can see the 4 choices there. Booklet, double-sided poster, and a disc. There's the window box, the disc. Some pretty good art here. The artwork's better than the movie was, and I don't really like this cover. But that's the newly commissioned art. This one looks like it may be commissioned too, but I'm not sure. And you get a little booklet. I shouldn't be so mean to Grace Jones. She was iconic in the 80s. You don't really hear too much about her anymore, but. And then here's the 2-sided poster. I like this side. That's a pretty cool poster right there. And this was the commissioned one. And the last one, which is my favorite one, is 1979 Zombie, also known as Zombie Flesh Eaters, also known as Zombie 2. This is Fulci's best movie, I think. And this is a pretty limited edition. This was limited to 500 pieces. You see there that top line. And believe it or not, when this came out, I ordered one from the UK. They sent it to me, and I liked it so much I ordered 4 more, and they sent me 4 more because most people were still sleeping. They had no idea what Arrow Video was. So at one time I had 5 of these out of 500. That would be unheard of today. This would sell out within a pre-order. But this is a really cool edition, and we'll take it apart and I'll show you guys. This is Region B. You can watch it with English or Italian subtitles. I'm sorry, English or Italian language, English subtitles. 91 minutes running time. They call this the strong uncut version. So let's take a look inside. Oop. So check this out. You got the window box. You got the disc. It is disc 1, the Blu-ray. And this is also a Blu-ray. This is special features. So the special features are region free, but the movie is locked to region B. But if you have a region free player, like I have at least 2, I may possibly have 3 region free players. I've had region free players for 20 years, going back to region free DVD before Blu-ray was even out. But here's one cover that's iconic. That's a great cover. That's another great cover. That was on the VHS. These are all iconic. And then there's I think this was the first Graham Humphreys cover. That's the commissioned art. And you get a nice book. A pretty nice thick booklet. It's one of the better ones that they've released for these window box editions. There's a really cool poster too. I'll show you here in a minute. But of the 5 that I had of this movie. I only still have this one left because over the years I have helped people get it that didn't get it when it came out. And I'm not a scalper. I'm not a reseller. I'm only a collector, and I'm always trying to help people out. So I never really made anything extra off of the movies, and it just made me feel good to know I was helping somebody complete a collection. I don't think there's anything wrong with making a couple of bucks off of somebody if it's a sellout, but you know, charging double or triple or quadruple, that's never my style, and I frown upon it. I don't like it. I think it's horrible that people scalp like that, but they do. And these are the posters. Check that out. And then they got this one too. This is beautiful. Oops, shoot. I tried to do it slick and it folded on me. All right, I think I'm trying to rush to get this over. That is a beautiful image. So this was my favorite edition. Let me know what your favorite one was if you watched both of these videos. I'd be curious to hear which ones you like or which ones you own. If you've never seen these before, do you plan on trying to track any of these down? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below, and thank you for watching. Bonus footage. So these are not part of the original 27 that I showed you in the first two videos. These were put out by Arrow Video, and they called these the Arrow Academy edition movies, and these did have window boxes, so I'm going to quickly show you what I have. I have 5 more. This one is called Spirits of the Dead. To me, the Arrow Academy movies were kind of like Criterion movies. They had like foreign titles, and you'll see what I mean when I show you these. This one's pretty good. It's a kind of a horror anthology called Spirits of the Dead. It has a segment by Federico Fellini, which is really good, and they come in a window box like so. We'll go quickly through these. There's a pretty thick book that comes with this one. These are really nice too, if you can track these down. And it also has 4 covers and 1 disc. Actually, it has 2 covers and then kind of a fold-out poster on this one on the inside. And then these are the 2 covers that you can choose to put on there if you want to. So that one is called Spirits of the Dead. And these are 3 Tales of the Macabre by Edgar Allan Poe. And again, I do recommend checking this out, especially for the Federico Fellini piece. The next one is a Polish movie called Ashes and Diamonds. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. You can see this one does have 4 covers. Movie came out in 1958. I'm gonna pause it and take that out. There's no poster, but there's a booklet and 4 choices. There's 2 discs. You get a Blu-ray all region, and you get a DVD also all region, and the 4 choices, 4 covers. And a pretty cool booklet. I've never seen the movie. So that is Ashes and Diamonds. Next is a German movie called The Tin Drum. It is in German English. I'm getting tired. German English. It's in German language with English subtitles. I'm going to keep that in. I don't care. This is the director's cut. It runs 163 minutes for the director's cut, or the theatrical cut is 142 minutes. That is a long ass movie. But you get 4 covers. Again, I'm running a little bit too long. I'm starting to get a little bit loopy here. I got 2 more to show you after this. We're gonna make it. I'm gonna hurry up and show you these. It doesn't matter if I get loopy at the end of these long videos because nobody watches this far. So if you do watch this far, put hashtag loopy in the comments. That'll be a wink and a nod that you made it this far. So anyway, there's the window box. There's the Blu-ray disc 1 and the DVD disc 2. Get 4 covers. And a booklet. I haven't seen this movie either. So that is, what year did this come out? It doesn't say, and I'm not gonna look it up. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste any more time looking for it. That is the tin drum. The next one is an Italian period drama piece about an assassin by Bernardo Bartolucci called The Conformist. This came out in 1970, I think, but the movie takes place in the 1930s. And this movie had a big influence on Martin Scorsese for the Godfather movies. And it runs 112 minutes. It's region B. There are the 4 covers. Starting to get really tired, so we're gonna make it though. We have 1 more after this. So there's the window box. It's a 2-disc set. Disc 1 is the Blu-ray. Disc 2 is the DVD. I like the different art that they have on these. Nice. Some nice art here on the inside too. And it comes with a booklet. The Italians know how to make movies. Just look at the clothing design. Take place in the 30s, and then it came with a little insert here for some of the movies that you can get. So let's see which ones I'm missing. I don't have Rififi. I do have that on Blu-ray through Arrow Video, but I don't have it in that window box edition, and I'll probably grab that at some point. Les Diaboliques. I don't have that one. I don't have that one. I don't have Miracle in Milan. I don't have The Garden, and I do have Bicycle Thieves and The Conformist. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 and I'm missing 5. Will I ever try to track these down? Probably not. But I might try to get Rififi. That's a good one. And the last one is another Italian movie called Bicycle Thieves. Blu-ray DVD combo. The movie came out in 1948. There's 2 different running times for the movie. The Blu-ray movie is 89 minutes and the DVD is 85 minutes. I'm not sure why. And you can only watch this in Italian with optional English subtitles. I watched this once before. I thought it was pretty good, but it was a long time ago. This also has a Criterion release. So you can see here, it says heralded as the greatest film ever made upon release back in 1948. It was a good movie, but it was far from the greatest movie ever made. Even in 1948, I would imagine that there were some better movies than this. But let's take a look inside, and we'll wrap this up. This shit show. Okay, so the last one here, window box of the Blu-ray, DVD. A couple of different covers here. And a booklet. How about that? So if you made it through either of the videos or both of the videos, I really thank you for watching. And it means a lot to me. And you probably should get a better hobby. But seriously, it means a lot, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the videos if you made it this far. You can always leave a comment, and I guess thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you in another video soon. Take care.